Welcome back to the Bolster Podcast, everybody. I'm here with Eric, who's one of our value customers, and we're really excited to talk to him about, how he's using Bolster today. Why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction, Eric? Tell us a bit about your business and how long you've been on Bolster as well.
Yeah, so my name's Eric Maki. I've been on Bolster for approximately about four months. Um, and at our business, we do bathroom renovations. So we specifically with like sintered stone panels and a solid surface shower pan. So we have a group of vendors, manufacturers that we work with exclusively, and then we kind of create the assemblies between these three vendors, and then we've been using Bolster to let our clients go between the selections.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's really cool. How long have you guys been around for? How long have you been doing it? How's it all going in terms of business perspective, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so we've only been at it for about 6 to 7 months, and then we came across Bolster. We thought to actually do more than one a week, we could actually use a software like Bolster to help us quote faster, to help us with the selection process. And so far we've loved it. We've had great success. I mean, everything that we don't have pricing on, we've used the auto cost. And that has been very well received. Like, people be like, "Can you paint my bathroom?" And I'm like, "Sure, let me pull in a cost." And so we end up we're able to offer other things that we may not know pricing on, but we feel pretty comfortable with the pricing that Bolster has sourced.
Yeah, totally. Which is one of the great features, and how we want contractors to be using auto cost as well. Precisely for that. You got some extras you want to add on, or a client wants to add on to a job. Sweet, you can quote you for that, and you can get the same contractor to do it. You've already built that trust. Why wouldn't you want to bid for that as well? So that's amazing, man. No, thank you so much for sharing that piece. And so yeah, tell us a bit about the business, and is it you doing the quoting yourself? You work with a bunch of different suppliers as well, or a couple of different suppliers, you said. What does that process look like in terms of quoting?
So yeah, so most of the quotes I'm doing, I have two other estimators, but they're not full time. They kind of jump in whenever needed. But Bolster allows, in our platform, it allows an unlimited amount of users, but we feel no issue with adding or subtracting sales staff. We use a lot of independent sales people out there, so we literally just let them. We give them a username. We let them go in. We give them parameters. We set up permissions, and then I allow them to price out maybe leads that they already had or leads that we have. Like sometimes, like a lot of our business is actually with dealers. So we work with retail locations as well. And then we're able to price stuff out for them really fast. But sometimes that independent sales rep will have them, like I'll have them handle estimating for maybe a retailer or a dealer that we set up in their area. We're based out of Minnesota. So like some of these locations that we work with might be, 3-4 hours away. But if I set up an independent salesperson in that area and I give them the tools in Bolster, I feel comfortable that they're able to go and sell jobs as they need. So I don't employ them full time, but it's kind of a great way for me to help out people in other areas, but also increase my market share, my geographical area. And then, yeah, I mean, I like locally, I do all the quoting. But the hardest part's setting up the assemblies, doing all these, product setup. But once it's set up, I mean, it's simple, it's easy. And, I think there's still a lot of pictures we need to add, but outside of that, I mean, we've been pretty good about building out our catalog.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's really cool to hear. I mean, it's cool to know that you can just, you're based in Minnesota, but even you don't have to be there physically to be able to sell jobs in different areas, which is, something that's really cool to help you do that. And you did mention building out the catalog there. And we want people and we encourage users to do that. And I think it is quite hard for our users sometimes to understand. They want to just jump in and think they can just, start tomorrow. But you do have to spend a little bit of time building out that catalog. Obviously, AutoCost helps, but for your specific needs, we need to create assemblies and get Alex or someone to help build it out. So how's that process been, from your side? Did you receive a lot of help from the team as well when building out the assemblies? Did you import a price list yourself and then work on that yourself, or what does that process look like, and how long did it take?
Yeah, so we started with the knowns, right? We started with things that we were comfortable with. And then I used Alex and the team to work on something that I was comfortable with, and like a pricing structure I already knew, and we were quoting prior to using Bolster. And then once I kind of understood how, like we use variations, for example, right? And we use like the selector tool. Our selector tool, I mean, it's cool. It's great. It allows people to, to do variations of maybe the same color. Like you could even use, you could use it for paint. We don't use it for paint, but like in our instance, we use it for these porcelain panels or these sintered stone panels, and we have matte finishes, polished finishes, and but within the same color. And that variation tool, maybe that panel costs $50 less for the matte version as it does the gloss. And we are able to, in real time, let the customer choose, what they want. But building that out was not, it was difficult at first, but now, like, I mean, I could probably build out, 5 selectors easily today with full products. I mean, once you're comfortable in the software, it's pretty easy to use. And anytime we've ever had an issue, we're able to book a time with somebody at Bolster within the next day. So we've been able to get our questions resolved within 24 hours.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, that is awesome, and we really want to give customers that experience, our customers, because that's, what you sort of expect from a software company. But that's awesome. And yeah, we have received sort of that feedback before about the steep, a little bit of a steep learning curve coming into it. But then once you sort of get the hang of it, that's the real power of Bolster, which is really cool. And so, you mentioned a little bit about select tools and a little bit about the quoting process. I want to know how you did those quotes before, and then how, the process now obviously has selector tools and it's very quick and easy, but how would have that been done previously or prior to joining Bolster?
So prior, we used our takeoff software. So we use an additional takeoff software. And that takeoff software is what we use, but every project was so specific that it's not like using a selector tool. It is a little bit more like if I need to adjust something or the client wants to see a different color, I have to go obviously send them a new quote, right? They can't do it on their own. And it's the good and the bad. Like our takeoff software is pretty robust, but when it comes down to actual individual items and doing a bathroom, I can't not do it nearly as fast. So like, last night I was doing a estimate that I normally would have probably put off for about 3 or 4 days just because I didn't have time to get to it. But because I already knew that I had assemblies built for that particular thing, I just went in, I created it probably within about, 15 minutes. And so something that normally would have taken me probably, an hour to 2 hours that I just could not allocate the time for, now it took me 15 minutes. I was able to fire off the price last night. I saw this morning that the customer looked at it twice. So like I've got all that, I've got all that information, and I was able to move on with my day feeling like I could quote faster. And I think that is, I personally, our company personally, at Terra Tech, we miss out on a lot of leads because we get so busy doing the work than sometimes quoting the work. So like somebody wants a quote and we'd be like, yeah, we'll get that to you for sure. And then all of a sudden a couple of days go by and they follow up and they're like, hey, looking for that price, that estimate. And I'm like, yeah, we're on it. Another day goes by, but now I can confidently go in there and I'm like, all right, you know what? I know enough about even previous estimates that I built that I can go in there, look at previous estimates very quickly because there's a pipeline, right? So I can go look at our old pipeline, our new pipeline, and go, all right, that person had a bathroom and a kitchen. So now I go and bring in the bathroom and the kitchen from that same person. And I'm able, like, I can even just duplicate that estimate if I really wanted to, and then just adjust the square footage. Pretty easy.
Yeah, no, awesome. That's so cool. And speed is so important when it comes to quoting and building the customer trust, from that first initial interaction that you have with them. Yeah, would you agree with that? Do you think bolsters help you to capture more jobs as a result of that speed?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, it's all on the front end that I've captured. I mean, I bet our win rate has gone up, we'll call it, I don't know, 100%, but like, I bet it's doubled. And it's it's and we picked Bolster because we were going to scale. We knew we had something, market ready that was really great, with our whole shower system. But what I didn't realize is how fast I'd be able to do all the other stuff. So like I was traditionally just going to stick around with bathrooms for the next year or two. And then I'm already quoting kitchens, right? Because it's not that hard to do once you understand Bolster, once you understand the auto cost, and you have assemblies already kind of built. So, maybe for kitchens, I didn't know always the pricing for granite, but I was able to bring in granite and quartz countertops for this kitchen. So, I mean, maybe that took an extra hour, but that extra hour, that estimate now went from a $20,000 estimate to a $50,000-$60,000 estimate, right? And it was only an extra hour.
Yeah, totally, man. That's really, really cool. Love to hear that feedback. And cool you're able to scale faster too, using the software. So tell us a little bit about these custom shower packages, and then how have you been able to build that out inside Bolster as well?
Yeah, so our our main offering, where we import panels from Spain, and then we put those panels, ideally, it's the best way to say is they're porcelain panels that existed in the market already, but they traditionally existed in custom homes, right? We actually are using Bolster as more of a production tool, so we can do more bathrooms. But the idea is that we kind of set the parameters in Bolster of what they can select, so we don't let them, go too far out of, like, we don't let them select a custom shower pan. I know that we can do that in Bolster, but I don't use it for that. We offer a mineral solid surface shower pan, also comes out of Spain. And that mineral solid shower pan has 5 colors, with probably like 12 different sizes. So we use the selector tool to go between those 5 colors and those sizes. And then we let people pick out the panels, because the installation's the same, right, to us. But we yeah, so it's a solid surface pan, and then it gets the walls. And then as an additional option, we do everything else in the bathroom, right? So we worked with a shower door manufacturer out of Michigan, and that shower door manufacturer now supplies us with any of our shower doors. So we made a selector tool for that. So now, the whole shower is covered. I mean, from the valve to the shower door, to the walls, to the pan. And then, we go to market with that, and we go up against, your Onyx shower systems and your plastic ones that have taken over our marketplace. We actually are trying to put in a premium product, for, customers that are looking for a premium product, but not obviously that premium price point.
100%, man. And then, in line with that premium offering that you have, how important is the presentation and how important is that, to your customers, the look and feel of that?
Oh, it's very important. We like I said, we bring in pictures of the actual material. We've taken little snips of, maybe these panels are 5 feet by 10 feet, but we've taken a 1 foot by 1 foot section and created that as the image because the customer wants to understand what the material looks like even before they come in maybe and make a final selection. So we're able to use the tools of imaging and just that just having pictures is already great feedback, but now pictures with selection is a whole nother level.
100%, man. Yeah, no, I agree. It's important for that client to visualize what it's going to be, right? And how it's going to look as the final product too. So yeah, great to hear that and great they're using that feature too. I did want to also make you aware, I know you talked a little bit about it, but there is a new takeoff feature in
Yeah.
Bolster, which which I'm going to encourage you to use, and maybe Alex can sort of show you around there. We can import plans and draw on top of them. So could be, something to look into. Hopefully it can achieve what you want to achieve. And obviously we want you to just be able to put in a floor plan, quote that, floor area or whatever is, change some dimensions off that. Or if you already know, obviously you don't have to necessarily do that. But again, that's something that's new to Bolster. So yeah, really encourage you to try that when you get the opportunity. But look, it sounds like you're using Bolster to its, full capabilities right now on that as well. So yeah, great to hear. I did want to touch on some other features that we do have. How have you been going with the project management features? So obviously you mentioned the pipeline, the CRM, looking at past quotes. How about, things like scheduling, budgeting, and also the payments feature?
So, payments is easy. I'll touch on that quickly. Payments is great. I toggle on if I want to charge a credit card to the customer or not. Usually I do, right? If they want to use a credit card, I let them, you know, decide to pay the fee, the credit card fee. So as far as payments, we've had great success. I get an update that the customer's paid their invoice. We do percentage billing, right? So like on our retail, we do a 50 and a 50. And then on our builder business, our dealer business, we do a third, a third, a third. So I do different percentages based on the project. And we've been able to send out invoices very quickly. And also receive payment pretty quickly because of that. And so we take that into account. Like I said, I get notified on my phone that the invoice was paid. So, I feel good then that we can go ahead schedule it. Now on the project management side, what I didn't realize was I thought I'd have to go do some of the scheduling, but it does auto scheduling in a way. So what happens is like, let's say I have something that costs the labor on it is $100. Well, that $100 in labor calculates the amount of time then they think that piece of the project will take. So instead of me putting in time, it takes the $100 cost and says, okay, this is going to take 1.5 hours or something like that. And then I actually am able to go, do I actually think that takes an hour and a half? If I do, I agree with it. If I don't, I actually raise the price or lower it depending on how long I think the actual thing takes. Because labor rates are, I mean, if something costs $100, there's a reason why it should cost $100. I believe that. And so the fact that it schedules how much time a project will take based on the amount of labor costs I've associated with it is pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, that's kind of the beauty of it, and having your stuff in assemblies as well. And automatically calculating the labor as well based on that time, is what we, really want customers to know that they can do. And then also automatically set up their schedule, based on that. So that's really cool feedback as well. And then, from a payments point of view, I want to touch a little bit on that. You mentioned the speed. How often do you think you're getting paid more often, using Bolster payments or invoicing? And how fast are you receiving payments back into your bank?
I want to say it's about 2 days. I think once a payment processes, I think it's about two. But we're getting more payments, or we're getting payments faster, but it's more because it's easy for me to go in there and invoice it. I was the holdup before, right? Because I'd have to go, email out a payment. But if I already have that customer information in, it's going to automatically send that invoice. So I don't need to download the PDF of the invoice and then send it out to the customer, and then have them reach out. Well, how do you want me to pay? Do you want me to pay by check? Do you want me to pay, by card? What, like, then I don't even have to have that conversation, because once that payment link is sent out, they immediately understand, okay, I have these options to pay. Which one do I want to choose? So they're no longer asking me, they're just making that decision, in themselves, like within themselves, right?
Mm.
Personally. So I am out of that conversation, and therefore they're comfortable paying. I'm comfortable sending an invoice pretty quickly because I've already priced out the project. So if I say I want to do 50%, I don't need to do a calculation or anything. I'm just going in there, sending out the invoice. I don't even need their email address, right? Bolster works off of cell phone, or off of phone numbers, right? And so because it works off of the phone numbers, it's kind of cool too, because now I know, I mean, everybody has their phone on them. So at 6 o'clock at night, somebody's getting a payment link. You can bet they're going to see it. I mean, I don't even have to worry about them going, "Oh, I didn't see that come through." I'm like, "You did. You definitely did. It came to your phone."
Yeah,
So,
100%. Yeah, which is, it makes it so easy for you. And we want to avoid you having those, awkward conversations or even just be involved in the process, right? It's just like click and forget about it. And then your customer
oh
sees
yeah,
it and we handle it. And that's really the dream, right? And actually our founder Mike will be really excited to hear that it's simplified the process for you because that was his dream as well. So thank you for sharing that, man. That's really cool. And then I wanted to touch a little bit on that as well. You mentioned, you just sort of price the project out and send it. So I mean, I'm assuming that this has helped you protect your profit margin as well.
yeah,
And really just you have an accurate estimate. Can you elaborate on that?
yeah. So we use a lot of subcontractors for our work, and what has happened is traditionally in the past, I would have to work an estimate backwards. So, I didn't always have my costs right um next to my invoice line, or I didn't necessarily have my costs next to my profit. Everything wasn't just it. My takeoff software was doing the math, but I would have to go in there line by line and see how much I calculated for costs. What's actually been really cool is there's a new feature you guys are doing in beta right now called work order. And I actually spit out work orders now. So like, um, I have a subcontractor who might want to do 3 of the 6 things. Okay. They're like, I will take care of the shower pan, I'll take care of the walls, and I'll take care of the waterproof board behind the walls. Okay. So now I take those 3 lines, I create a work order of those 3 lines, but then it automatically keeps the rest of them for me to allocate to somebody else. So I just had a subcontractor call yesterday and they said, "How much are you going to pay us to do that house?" And I said, "Give me 30 seconds." And I went into Bolster, I looked at my lines for my costs, and I said, "This is what I'm willing to pay." And they said, "Okay, sounds good." And I said, "Yep, I'll send you a work order." And they said, "Okay." Like they were not, they, I was able to be fair with them as well. So I didn't have to, traditionally I've worked for other companies and construction companies and flooring companies. And what has happened is we overbid one thing, but we underbid something else. And so we end up, it's the robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? It's that saying. We used to take money from one thing and then allocate it to another, installation because we messed up. And so because of that, now if that person doesn't want to do the second thing, and now we don't have enough money for it, right? And therefore, like you said, you asked if it protects our profit margin, and it absolutely does. Because if I'm putting in a true cost of what that thing is, or what I'm willing to pay for that thing, painting, whatever it is, and A subcontractor is, and it seems like a fair cost to the subcontractor. There is no taking from another item to pay for that item. It is very easy for us to protect our profit margin because our costs are fair, our profit margin is fair, and having those percentages just added on inside of the assembly. Like I said, I can spit out a work order for one item, feel comfortable about it, or all 6 items and feel comfortable about it. And yeah, so it's been
That's
very,
great.
very good for the fact, like I said, the work order tool has been super, super great. And I don't even know how much you guys know about that, the work order tool yet, but it just kind of came out, I think, like 3 weeks ago or something. So
Yeah, no, it did. We have been focusing a little bit on that because we've received a lot of feedback about work orders, RFQs, POs, and it might be from yourself as well. So I'm really glad that it's working out. I'll definitely feed that back to the team as well. But yeah, no, awesome to hear that it's protecting that profit margin. I think a lot of contractors struggle with that. And struggle with, keeping track of everything and also maintaining that, or if they make a mistake in one area and they haven't, correctly quoted for certain items or whatever it is, then they're making up for it in other areas. But yeah, good to hear that it's working from your side. And a few general questions just to finish. I know we've taken a bit of your time here, but all the feedback you've been given is so good. First off, if you were to try and, I don't know, convince another contractor to get Bolster, what would you tell them about the software?
the software is very reasonably priced for what it does. Similar software is traditionally user cost, like it's based on users. Bolster it has tiers and allows up to a certain amount of users. I thought for the price point of, we're at the top tier per se, but we have gotten very good customer service. Like I said, we can have unlimited users, so I'm not paying per user. So if all of a sudden I go to 20 or 30 salespeople, it doesn't matter. Or 10 salespeople and 5 project managers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, the software isn't going to be, isn't it, you guys are not overcharging for the software for what it does. I think just in the fact that you guys have built out so many assemblies and so many other things for it has saved me so much time on the stuff I don't know about. And I would say that to any contractor, if there's a contractor out there that thinks that they have all the pricing dialed in for every assembly and everything that they do, they're amazing. They should build a software. I highly, highly doubt it. There is a lot of things that a lot of us all probably know and are specialized in, but to be a general specialist in everything is wildly unimaginable. I don't believe it, and Bolster has bridged the gap. That is the bigger thing. It has bridged the gap of all the unknowns that I don't understand or know about, whether it be paint or cabinets or, I mean, I could go price out a deck, right? And I don't even have to know that much about it because Bolster does it. Like, I'm not after decks. But what I would say to general contractors is honestly just, if it's something you're looking at, it achieves probably 95% of what you're looking for from a software. And that's pretty great for a software because I've never met a software that does 100.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Yeah, that's so true. Right? Like, nothing ever does 100, and you got to put that little bit of extra effort in, but that's down to the user too. And we're super glad that you've been super hands-on with it as well. So that's great. And then, yeah, anything you'd like to feed back to us in terms of like things we could do better, if it's between customer service or if it's between anything like that, anything you wanted to share with us?
I don't know if there's necessarily anything, you guys are constantly improving. And I think that in and of itself is important because that means that you understand a lot of the faults and you take feedback very well. I think, probably my only feedback for, would be that building the selector tool with variations on a more complex list can be very daunting. And so it would be more of importing maybe spreadsheets to do that would probably be my, retooling how spreadsheets read product IDs, or allowing spreadsheets maybe to create product IDs or something like that. And almost being able to build a variation outside of the system and import it in would be a lot faster. But, that's only on complex things. Not everything has to be that complex. The one good thing I will say though is once you build out those selectors, you can bring them, into a simple list, and now you can use those as a selector. So like if I had a custom shower pan versus a solid surface shower pan, the customer could pick between those two, and now those become assemblies and those become selector tools, and everything kind of can live within bigger items. And so there's kind of, you're only limited by your imagination of what you can really do with it. And so, yeah, I mean, my feedback would be just, being able to use an import and export spreadsheet tool in an easier way.
Good to know. Yeah, we'll definitely feed that back. We've been looking at how do we do that with regular item imports, but also for selectors, how do we leverage AI as well for those? Maybe it can be something that's read by that. So yeah, I'll feed that back. I know we are working on that in the background into getting those to make it seamless for guys like yourself that have complex selector tools. But yeah, no, thank you for sharing that as well. But yeah, no, that was kind of all the questions I had really. We loved hearing about it. I think that was really awesome what you said about it, and about the software as well. And we're just really glad to have you as a customer, and really glad that you're, making more money, and also being able to expand and grow your business using the software. So that's yeah, great feedback. And what we love to hear. So, we thank you for being a valued customer. Yeah, and then closing remarks from yourself. Is anything else you wanted to share, or is that it?
No, I'm happy I found the software. It I I'm I've been very pleased with it. And yeah, I mean, like I said, even with some of its quirks, it's the probably, the best general contracting type software that I have come across to date. So
Wow, amazing. Thanks so much for sharing, man. Honestly, it's cool to hear a bit about your business as well. And yeah, no, Terra Tech sounds like it's going gangbusters, man. So I'm really stoked to hear it. And yeah, stoked that we can be a part of your journey as well. And big shout out to Alex, and I'll give him your regards as well. I'm sure he'll be stoked to hear that you had such a great experience, and was able to share it with us. So yeah, appreciate your time, Eric. Yeah, and yeah, be in touch, man, and we will send you over a form just to finalize everything, and say, we can use this for marketing and things like that, use some of your quotes. But otherwise, yeah, no, thanks for jumping on and doing this.
no, of course, Dan. I mean, honestly, I've been very pleased. So thank you guys.
No, no, all good. And yeah, any other feedback, we'll be in touch as well. But I'll pass on the feedback, yeah, about the selector tool stuff, and about the work orders as well, because I think the team, the developers were really awesome for them to hear that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the work order worked pretty slick when we just started using it, and we're like, I mean, maybe the PDFs look a little funky, but we didn't care that like there was some overlap in how the lines, like it's really hard to do formatting, with those HTML things. So I don't know, I was pretty pleased with it. I like
Sweet.
our subcontractors did not care if all of a sudden we're like, our logo is overlapping our address or something. Like there was something funky like that happen. Like our subcontractors don't care. How much are you paying me for doing this? That's what they care
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, exactly right. No, 100%. That's all they care about, the money. And if it's just to one person, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we'll definitely iron out some of those UI things as well, when we get the chance. But yeah, good to hear someone's using it as
I'm
well.
yeah, I'm serious, Dan. I mean, every software, they all have their downfalls of like what they're able to do. It's just who's working on it, and is there actual real improvements? And it's like so many softwares actually buy other softwares and then bolt them on. And I think that that's almost worse than doing like an actual cut, like just instead of just keep custom building off of your current. Because when all of a sudden you got all these customizations that are bolted on, like QuickBooks is one that bolts on all these ones that they would buy. Like QuickBooks is a terrible inventory software, for example. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm going on a tangent, but I refuse to use QuickBooks for their inventory or anything because they bought an inventory software company and then tried to bolt it on and it doesn't even talk very well to itself.
Yeah, oh no, totally. I know it's rough out there, and especially yeah, when like QuickBooks, that's definitely not their specialty. Like just, their accounting, do that part, and that's fine. But yeah, especially when they try and kind of approach it and buy another software to do it. And we're very much against that. Obviously, we try and do everything in-house. We have integrations, obviously, but at the same time, we're never going to be that. Like our vision is to become the all-in-one software.
Yep.
And that's why, yeah, even having interviews like this is super important.
Yeah, I know you guys are working on becoming what is considered they would call like an ERP or like it's
Yeah.
it's like a QuickBooks, but not, I mean, more robust obviously than even a QuickBooks.
Yeah. More of like a Salesforce,
Yeah,
SAP kind
yeah.
of ERP
Yeah,
kind of
and
system.
that
Yep.
is very expensive and hard to do. Because there's compliancy then that starts to come into play. So
Yeah, totally. And our founder knows that. He's like, man, we chose the hardest possible thing to
I
do,
know.
which is like build everything all at once. And I'm like, dude, you could have just like created like a photo app, like company cam or something. And he's like, no, we're doing everything. So that's why we've kind of taken, so long to get to where we are. But it's guys like you that we love hearing from, just being like, yeah, it's amazing and it's actually doing what we want it to do. Because there's so many pieces to build out before you even get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fantastic to hear that.
Yeah, and I gotta talk to financing because like the Chadwick was great, by the way. He actually was my onboarding person.
Oh yeah.
But he um I was your founder started as a software company, but obviously has investment now, and that investment is cares about the financing. And so like you can build as much great software as you want, but it's if you can start financing things and doing all of that, you can make a lot more. Um,
Yes.
and so I'm like, I don't know if I feel like my customers cannot finance their projects currently, and I don't know when that happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, we used to have that feature, and we had a partner doing that. That relationships ended, but we are looking into that because we have another financing partner, um, that wants to offer that for us. So yeah, financing for projects, financing for your customers, also financing for your business as well. So like short-term loans,
well,
whatever
there
we
is
want to do
somebody
that.
currently soliciting that business. Okay, so that'll come back.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it'll come back. Yeah,
I was like, I want my customers to be able to finance their projects. Now, I don't think that they should. I think they should save up for them,
yeah.
but I'm not them. I'm not going to tell them what they should and shouldn't do. I want to sell jobs.
Exactly right. It's going to help you, not financial advice, hashtag whatever. But yeah, it's we want to do that because that is something that's on the cards for sure. But yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, we've got a payment processor obviously, so that we use them. And they want to also do the financing. So yeah, that'll be part of it. But yeah, it's coming back.
Okay, good.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of your day, man. And yeah, we'll be in touch if anything else.
Thanks, Dan. See ya.
Appreciate it. See you, mate. Bye bye.